Welcome back everybody to Formula 1 Weekly. That's right, the weekly Formula 1 news show. And Formula 2, don't forget, over here on the F1 Reviews channel. Pretty quiet week in terms of news, but a really fantastic week. Nonetheless, I'm sure, as you all know, this week was the return of Formula 1, the start of the F1 2018 season. The Australian Grand Prix was here for the season opener. A solid race. If you didn't see over on the channel, I've done my race review, the first one in Formula 1. I'm not going to tell you my thoughts mainly. If you want to go see that, you can go over and check the race review. This is very similar to the Formula E Weekly. If I've ever done a race review, I tell you to just go over and check the review to see a full in-depth analysis. But I can tell you it was Lewis Hamilton who came second after coming on pole position. Big shock there. Sebastian Vettel eventually went away with the win after what appears to be a controversial safety car decision, or virtual safety car decision. The decision itself obviously not controversial, but many people claiming conspiracy theories from the Haas cars. Many people saying it's an unfair system. A big debate that looks like it's going to be going on for a while, and I've definitely put that into my list of potential question documentaries that I do on a Tuesday. Now, you will notice today's a Tuesday and Formula 1 Weekly comes out on a Monday. Brother's birthday yesterday, I was at college till late, so this week I imagine the schedule will be a bit topsy-turvy, but tomorrow I plan to get a Q&A documentary out, which is like, will Haas ever win a Formula 1 World Championship, will Kimi Raikkonen be replaced, and I'll have a normal Q&A tomorrow. So hopefully 2 videos out tomorrow, very special for you guys if you're fans of the channel. But like I say, F1's back, baby. We're here and it's here to stay. Some little bits that went with the Aussie Grand Prix was the fact that the lights have changed, if that makes any difference. Something that rarely happens in Formula 1 is changing to the lights in the start sequence, and it was something that appears to be overlooked by the Halo. Obviously we know that the TV camera angles were definitely overlooked by the introduction of the Halo, but also the lights. Some drivers complaining over winter testing that they couldn't actually see the lights and the starting sequence, which I imagine when you're sitting there on the grid is not the best of feelings whatsoever. And so what they've done is the FIA have reduced the minimum height for the lights, which should hopefully mean it's easier to see the lights from the driver's point of view. Just something interesting I just thought I'd chuck in this week's F1 Weekly, because it is a very dry week. Obviously, like I say, a lot of this week was the build-up to the start of the season, and so obviously the media was all focused on that, and Formula 1 obviously, they didn't want to put out anything that would divert attention from the first race of the season, but a pretty good, solid season opener. We're now going to move on to Formula 2. Again, not too much in the world of Formula 2, except Testing 2. So fairly big. Testing 2, just a quick roundup then. The 3-day testing, still 4 seats available in Formula 2. 2 at Dams, 1 at MP Motorsport and 1 at Campos. But drivers that took their place in those seats over this week's testing was Alexander Albon and Nicholas Latifi for Dams, Roberto Merri, the former F1 driver, he was in MP Motorsport, and Roy Nissany was in the Campos Formula V8 3.5 driver. Now, F2, if you don't watch it, consider it. Really do. It's much closer than Formula 1, and sometimes you can see better driving. The 100%, there's a million times more overtakes. But Formula 2, if you've not seen it before, if you do have access to it, I would recommend just watching. I really would, or just going on YouTube, look at last season. It's really interesting, and seeing young drivers come up through the sport is also great, and I'm 100% sure this year it's going to be the best Formula 2 season ever. Loads and loads of great drivers in this particular season. But I'll do a quick roundup of the results of testing week 2. Day 1 then, Luca Giotto first place, Antonio Fuoco second, and Louis Delatraz in third. Quite interesting there that the 2 Churros guys, now I say Churros, I don't actually know how to say the name of that team, so I do apologise there, I am struggling, but hopefully I will learn when the season kicks off and the commentators can say it, because like I said, I am struggling with that one. But Churros is what I've gone for. And that's basically this season the Ferrari Junior team. So Fuoco and Delatraz not bad there, especially considering in week 1 of testing, they were pretty much nowhere, so that was a good effort from them. On day 2, it was a Jean Manai, someone who I did not think would be particularly good in Formula 2. He was top of the times, which is very impressive. Then Jack Aitken, someone who I think will be a fantastic driver in the future and will be in Formula 1 very soon. He was P2, and in third was former McLaren Young driver. Someone in the comments corrected me on that. Nick de Vries has been dropped by the McLaren Young driver programme, and so yeah, Nick de Vries was P3. Then on the final day of Formula 2 testing, it was Maximilian Gunther who was top of the times, with Louis Delatraz in second, and third Mercedes Young driver George Russell. A few of those names in there I'm 100% sure are going to be winning races, and lots of great British young talent in Formula 2 this season. Jack Aitken and George Russell's, as I just mentioned. And my prediction for, well, at the moment it is anyway, before I do my predictions video, which might be very soon, my prediction for the world champion for Formula 2, Lando Norris. McLaren Young driver, fantastic in Formula 3 last season. I really think he is going to be the next big thing. Leclerc in Formula 1, I should mention as well. He had his debut this weekend. I mean, I'm obviously tacking this on because it's a very quiet week. But Leclerc was Formula 2 champion last year. Did a pretty solid job in his first race. I didn't really mention it over in the race review too much. But Leclerc, a pretty faultless weekend, except qualifying behind Marcus Ericsson. But I'm sure just finishing the race for him was a great job. And finishing in front of the Williams of Lance Stroll and in front of Brendan Hartley, although that is a different scenario because Hartley was pretty much a lap down the whole race, still was a good effort from Charles Leclerc. But that's all. That's it for F1 Weekly. Not a long video today, which is pretty gutting because I do enjoy the F1 Weekly videos, but we've got about 100 more of you guys since the last F1 Weekly, so welcome to the channel. If you are new around here as well, we do have the weekly mailbox. That'll be coming out tomorrow. That's the weekly Q&A that started last week. And if you've got any last minute questions you want to ask for tomorrow, I've got loads, but if you want to do any more, chuck them down in the comments below and I'll be looking there for tomorrow. Very excited for that one. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this week's Formula 1 Weekly. Like, subscribe, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.